Swami.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to you, Rashmita. Once you give
Yes.
the introduction, I'll start.
Good morning, everyone. Before we start today's session, please feel free to do event check-in. This will give you access to additional resources and information about events that we are running on Reactor, which are around similar topics to today's session. I will share the QR code in the Q&A section shortly. Also, we have launched our LinkedIn group on Reactor. Please feel free to join the group to get the latest update on session happening on Reactor. I will share the joining link soon. Thank you all once again for joining us today. My name is Rashmita and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. The session will run over the next 60 minutes including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel within 3 to 4 days. I will share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Quick word on a code of conduct. We display this at all Microsoft Reactor events that we run, and it's just a reminder to be aware of others. Key thing to take out here is to be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. I would now like to welcome Swami, our speaker for today's session. He is an aspiring software architect and currently he works at Applied Information Sciences. He loves to learn about new technologies, but for now, I will hand over to Swami to begin the session. Over to you, Swami.
Thank you so much, Rashmita. Hey, all, good morning. Thank you so much for joining this morning. And there are a lot of things to discuss. I'll straight away jump. I request all of you to please visit this page. The link is here, and Rashmita can also give more details. We have this is a series of sessions covering uh, almost all the topics which is there in the syllabus, purely the hands-on perspective, nothing related to the theoretical thing. And please watch the previous session because some of the things which I'm doing in current session, I would have discussed at least basics or fundamentals or some portion in my previous episodes. So please watch this previous series and still a lot of sessions are going to come. Okay. The entire coding for today's session will be here under Microsoft Reactor. I'll give you this link also. Under this, you will have the entire source code, including the instructions, how we are doing. Everything will be here. Okay, so let's get going. There are a lot of things we have to do. I will post this link and then we can get going. Okay, cool. So that's the link. Someone is on the speaker. I'm sorry. Could you please mute yourself? Thank you. So as we are doing, every time we'll spend 1 minute time. So we are incrementally building. So as and when we progress in this AZ204 series, whatever we learn, we start using that to some extent in our hands-on scenario. I mean, it might not be the best architecture, but we will use it to some extent. Like initially we learned about API, then we learned about SQL Server, Postman, how to integrate this. Then we came and we started deploying Windows Virtual Machine and Ubuntu Virtual Machine. Next, what did we do? We installed IIS and deployed a web app. And what are we doing now? We are keep parking it aside. We'll come back and because we'll deploy the already application has been deployed. That application will link it to this one. That will do it in the next because next one is fully loaded with the Docker and containerization of the application. That will be neck to neck in the time. We don't have time, but I'm parking it aside. We'll come back and we'll give the connectivity from here till here and this one. And why I was asking you guys to go and read the previous or watch the previous episode is something which we do while deploying this applications here. We will know the benefit, how much pain we took when we have to go and install the IIS and create a site and create a folder, map it and come and do a deployment from here. So it took almost 40 minutes for us to do it. Now, just with few clicks, we are able to deploy. So how much efforts are going behind the scene, Microsoft or any cloud provider is taking for us to go and deploy our application. So once you watch that episode, you will definitely enjoy the benefits and appreciate the efforts of Microsoft providing all these things. Okay? So that's the thing. And let's go ahead with our session today. I will minimize that. And anything, someone typing? Okay. Ramakrishna, is my voice low? I mean, is my voice audible?
Yes, Swami.
Okay, cool. So what are we going to do today? So there are a lot of things. Okay. So we'll do all these things today. So this is the application. It is Angular 13. I forgot to update it. I have bumped it up to Angular 13. So I'm still a learner. Apologize if I do any mistake. Before starting the session, I would like to share one of the good news for me. And I was awarded Microsoft MVP on 1st November. Thank you, Microsoft and Deepak sir, for this privilege. So this is one of the good news I had. Okay. So let's start with this. What are we going to do? I'm still a learner. Apologize if I do any mistake. So first we will go ahead and deploy the SQL project to SQL Azure. And then we go and deploy the .NET 6 Web API to Azure App Service. Then we learn something about the Web App Console, App Service Editor, Kudu Console. To a decent extent, we touched it, but today we go a little bit depth and we look into that event log, and we'll configure diagnostics logs, streaming logs, and access. And we'll deploy Angular 13 app, and we'll enable cars, and we'll create the custom domain and attach the custom domain to the web app and configure the SSL. Okay, please fasten your seatbelt and let's get going. I've given the my repositories where I have created these things. So let's start with that. So I'm using .NET 6 and this is Visual Studio 2022. Everything latest, whatever has come this week, we are using everything. So .NET 6, Visual Studio 2022 and Angular 13, everything is latest, 1 week old or something. Let's get going with that. And here are a couple of resources which I have already created. Just to save the time, we will quickly go ahead and see. I have one for the API and one for the app. So let's go and see this API and one for this app. And I would like to go and unless I suggest you guys create the dashboard when you're using. And I really like to pin accumulated cost. I know that what is it is costing, so I just do that so that at least I can keep a watch on how much amount I'm spending. So this is the college data store which I have created, and let me go to this show firewall settings. Okay, this one also we discussed in our previous session. So let me save that. Okay, first let's see. I'll come here and SQL database. Let me go to this connection string and I'll copy this connection string here and let's go and connect it. There are multiple ways to connect, guys. Let's use Azure Data Studio. I really like this a lot, and SQL login. And okay, we are connecting. This is I create a new group, Swami Nafar. Okay, this is another beauty of this. You can have, you can create a groups and you can have different color codings for different groups, and you can use this. So we'll come back to this database. That's in another subscription. I'll minimize this. So let's go to this database over here, and we'll see that we have the college database. And inside the college database, we have a couple of professors and students. This is a old one. So what I will do is, let me go to Visual Studio. I mean, entire code is there in the repository, folks, including the instructions. Everything is there. So please, we can focus. So what did I do is, for today's demo, I just added one extra table. That's products table. It's a simple table, and also I have some scripts here. I can do the data population also. So first thing what I have to do is, I have to select, go to the properties, and in this project properties, I need to mention the target, change the target to SQL Azure. Okay, change the target to SQL Azure and go to debug and click on edit, and I will go back to this, the data store. It's already there, data store one. Okay, and I do the test connection. Connection is succeeded. So I click on OK. Once I click on OK, SQL DB hyphen college hyphen data store. So you can come and verify that SQL DB hyphen college hyphen data store. So at this point of time, we see that there are only two tables. At this point of time, we can see that there are only two tables. So now let's do the deployment. How do we deploy? So right mouse click on this, set as a startup project. There are multiple ways. This is one of the way to do. So I just click on start. So once I click on start, it will go ahead and start deploying this. Okay. So it is deploying the DAC pack. So while it is deploying, let's not waste any time. We'll come back here, and we have two things. One is the API. So app-college-API. This is for our API, and one is for our Angular UI. So this is for the Angular UI. So at this point of time, you can see that this has got the hosting, whatever is that, the hosting HTML, only those files are there. We will see that. We'll go into that. We will come back here and click on the app service editor. So click on that app service editor and click on go. And for the web application also, let's come to app service editor and let's click on go. So once you go to that app service editor, you see that it opens editor, the SCM, where it is directly taking us to the www root where our files has been hosted. So you can see that everything is here, and whatever you're seeing is coming from here. So we'll delete all these things and we'll say that hello world. So without hello world, our session will not be completed. Okay, so you saw that. So this is where our files will get hosted. Okay, let's keep it there and we'll come back. It is still building. So it takes a minute or so for this to go and publish it here. So what we will do is, we will just for our sake, this is API, and this I will make it as an web app Angular. This is NG13 app. So that's the NG13 app. I already created those yesterday and kept it in a separate resource group so that we can quickly see how does it look, what are we going to do by the end of this session. In next 1 hour, we are going to do all these things. We'll deploy SQL, we'll deploy API, and we'll create the Angular UI and deploy it. And I mean, this is not a big thing, but just a small look and feel like you have something and you click on products, it goes and brings in the products. If it is not able to reach, then you will see a error message there. So that's a simple thing, simple UI. It's not a big thing. Like so, this is what, and also you can see that we have the custom domain and everything is here, and you can go and check the certificate. Everything we'll do it from scratch. There's nothing in here. Everything we'll be doing from scratch. I just wanted to quickly walk you through, and you can see that this guy is taking some more time. Okay, now it has created. So once it is building that, what you can do is you can come here to that debug folder. You can come to that debug folder, and here is the SQL file which this guy is creating. So if you go and see that, it creates this SQL file, and this is what it's getting deployed on the server right now. So that's what is happening. It is deploying this SQL server. Let's come back to this one. So it went and it deployed all these three things. It deployed products, and it deployed only this. If you see that it didn't deploy those two tables which were already existing, only the third table it has deployed. So we can come and verify here. You can see that there were only two tables. Let's refresh that. Now you can see this. The products table has also been deployed. So let's go quickly to the Solution Explorer under documentation, starter files, SQL scripts. I've given some scripts. I mean, in the next session, I will include this as part of the DACPack deployment. But for today, let's use it little harder way or a manual way. So let's go ahead and create a new query and give this a second. Okay, so I will run. And this college data store, it will create this 5 products it has already created. So can do select star from products. Okay, so it shows these products. Okay, that's good. So we have covered the first step of our journey today. So we did this deploy the .SQL proj to the SQL Server Azure using Visual Studio 2022. There's no difference. You can use 19 also, but I just wanted to use all the latest trendy, shiny technologies. So, and in exam, I think you can expect if it is .NET 3.1 long term or .NET 5 or .NET 6, but the concept is important. Whether you're using .NET 3 or .NET 6, it doesn't matter. Just like facilities or the way it is coded, it will improve, but rest of the things will remain same as it is. Okay. So what is next? Next is we need to deploy the Web API, .NET 6 Web API to Azure. So where are we going to deploy? I will close this. We will recreate everything. Don't worry. We will do that. So we saw that it is there here. So let me come back there. We have this one. We saw that. We'll keep it here as it is. I will go. And the next thing is this is the college API, which we have to deploy. So at this point of time, if I come in here to the deployment center, you can see that there are no deployments as of now. Okay, we'll use this for Angular, but at this point of time, what I'm doing is I'll come to overview. There are multiple ways to do. We'll try all different ways. So I downloaded this publish profile, and what I'm doing is I am going in here, come back to Visual Studio 2022. And seriously, I liked it. Initially, the icons were little different to digest when I'm using this 19 and 22, but I started liking it now a lot. So click on publish. So once we click on publish, it will come and come to this screen. I will delete this so that it will be clear. So we did couple of things. We did try Azure, and inside that Azure we tried couple of things. We tried App Service, we tried App Service Windows, App Service Linux, and we tried Azure Virtual Machine. So the next session it will be App Service Container and Azure Container Registry. And now we are going ahead with the import publish. So here we tried the three items, 1, 2, and 3. So now today we are trying with this one, import publish profile. I will go and import this publish profile, and I do finish. So now at the starting of this session, I told, did you guys watch the series? Why? Because now we can correlate the advantage of how quickly we were able to accomplish a task. In fact, do you remember this dialogue from the previous session where we created the website and we added this and we did the validate connection. So now it took a lot of time for us to go and open the ports on the firewall and do all those configuration. Now you will see you're enjoying the benefit someone else is doing for us. Okay. So please watch that and come back and watch this session again. So you will see the difference, what is happening. So one more important point which I would like to cover is here we have the app settings. And this app settings is pretty clean. I'm not storing any of this SQL connection, but everything is there on the cloud. And the database connection string is not saved here. So I am using the manage secrets, user secrets. So that's where my credentials are there. So this is outside the source code location. It is C users Vishwanath Swamy app data roaming. So even though I have the connection string of prod or anything, until unless someone steal my laptop, they will not get the credentials because it's outside the app settings. And another notable difference what I see is there is no startup.cs, it's only program.cs in .NET 6. And they made it simpler, and it is like a global namespace. And this guy, create builder, is the one which is taking care of loading all these connection strings. Okay, I've opened up the cars also. So let's go ahead and do this deployment real quick. So right mouse click and publish and click on publish. It's not going to take much time. So there are multiple ways you can watch it. The deployment has started here. You can watch it from here because we have the core, we have the SQL DAL, we have API, everything is here. Or you can come to this publishing wizard and you can verify the progress here. So it's a convenience where you want to watch what is happening. You can see this all things are getting pushed, and we can watch here. If you come to this one, here it was only the hosting start.html. In fact, now you're seeing that, and this is the one good thing. I just wanted to show you this. Microsoft intelligently, they are having this app offline. That means while deployment is happening, if someone tries to hit it, I assume that they show this site under construction at this point of time. If I think now by this time it would have deployed it, but if not, at the time of deployment, they will, I'm sure that they will definitely show that. Now it is gone. See that site under construction, the deployment app underscore offline file is gone. So that means it has been completely deployed. Okay, so it's restarting the web app and it has deployed. Okay, so just to reduce the noise, I'm closing the other tabs so that we'll get some extra space. So at this point of time, it has deployed, and we don't have access to this one. So let's start investigating why we are not able to execute this, because it has to be as part of this products. So I'm typing, the products has come because products have hard coded. Professors is the one, it will not work. So I'm trying to professor, it will not work. So we see that everything is here. And if you see that app settings file, as we are using the secrets JSON, there will not be anything here. So even if someone comes and tries to view that, it says that create this connection string to connect to the SQL database. Okay, so we don't have anything. We'll come back to this one and come to this console. You can come to this console. It is a command line stuff. You can see that DAR or LS, whatever is your favorite thing, you can check. You see the entire files, whatever you're seeing here, the visually, the entire content is here. So, and then I can do ... and I can go and check this diagnostics deployments and everything is here. And I can go one level and I can get into that log files and I can see that there are a lot of logs and I can say cat event log. Okay. If you see this cat, when you do cat event log, what it is telling that initialization, that means something to do with the connection string. If even if you're not hitting properly, say that DB connection string builder, so something is gone. So if you are a purely command line guy, you can come here, and if you want to be a visual look and feel, you can come here. There is another way we can go and investigate it. That is my favorite guy, Kudu console. This is keys of the kingdom, folks. Please ensure that I'm sure that you will not get access to this until unless you are from the DevOps team. But I love this guy, Kudu console, like anything. So I come to this debug console, and let's go to the log files. You have everything here, and this is event log. This is exactly the same event log what you will do when you do event VWR on your machine. It's the same event log file, but it writes it here. So you can scroll down and you can see that it has something to do with the connection string. Okay, now we understood that there is an issue with the connection string. So we have covered console log, advanced console, and this one. So for this, what we have to do is we have to come here to the configuration. And before that, let me go and grab this item. It should be under connection strings, folks. It should be under connection strings. So let's come here, not under application settings. It should be under connection strings. So under connection strings, I'm having this, and this one I will. What did I do? $. That's my secret password. I take this and paste it over here. We'll come back to the key vault. That's let's not rush. We will cover every topic, but slowly, step by step. Let's make our fundamentals right. So I added this. I click on save. So once that is, let it save, and then we'll spend 1 or 2 minutes time here real quick before we proceed further. Okay, we were able to store the connection string. You can click on this again if you want to edit, and you can come back over here and you can click on this general setting. The runtime stack I just wanted to show, and also the HTTP version. You have version 2 also, HTTP 1.1 and HTTP 2, and a lot of remote debugging and other things are there. And default HTML file, if you want to, the hosting start is one of the HTML file. So that's how it recognizes, even though you don't deploy and Microsoft provides this hosting start, that's how you're seeing this one. And path mappings is the one when you have a parent folder application, and inside that you have sub applications or virtual directories. You can come and use this one. Okay, just as a additional details. And one more thing is here you have the advanced edit. You can click on this advanced edit where you can see all these items in one stretch, and similarly you have advanced edit over here also. So here it is there. And how does the connection string college DB connection string, even though we just created it as part of the connection strings. How does Kudu console or the app service, how does it uses? So you can directly go to this connection strings over here, and let me refresh that. It should create this data store. See that? It uses like this, SQL Azure Con str. Okay, so this difference will come when you're using Azure functions. So when you are hosting these sites, please ensure that even though you use it like this, but how do you access is very, very important, folks. So there are some of these connection strings which will come. It has got a prefixes. So this Azure will take care of these prefixes. So please ensure that these are the prefixes. SQL Con str, MySQL will be like this, and SQL Azure will be like this, and custom connection string. These are some of the prefixes. So it will play an important role. How are you accessing it? Okay. So it will not impact here, but when we discuss about the Azure functions, that's when it will definitely trouble us if you're not accessing it properly. Okay, that being said, we have given the connection string. Now it should not have any problem to give us the data. I'll close this, and I'll close this. Now I'm going to professors table. Now I'm going to the professors table. It will not give me the data. I'm troubling all of you. Apologies for that. And what we have to do is, there are something which we can come and configure is app service logs. So what do you want in this app service logs? You can come and click on this log stream. So where you can see the streaming of logs, whatever is happening. I mean, just in case some of the issue which is faced by the customer, they report it, and we want to watch, and we'll ask the development team, we go on a bridge and we'll say that you guys try, and let me watch the log stream and see how the things are working. So it will not work because there are something else which we have to do. Okay, see these logs are coming in. Again, we can go here, and it is clearly saying here, it says that it's not able to connect it, or it's not allowing. The client IP is 2049.104.50. This is the IP. So how do you know that this is the IP address of app service? That is the stream of logs which it is happening. You can see this outbound IPs. This is one of the IP from here. So at this point of time, what did I do in the firewall? I have given access only to my machine. Except me, no one in this world can access this database. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm adding the IP address of the web app. Okay. Web API. And I'll save. I added the web API's IP address, and now we'll come back. And now if we go ahead and click this, it will go and bring the content. I don't have any professors at this point of time, but net it is going and bringing in the content. We can come back. That's an IP address. If you want to allow, only allow this one. There are other methods which will come and look into that in future. But for today, we are at least maintaining the security that only two people in this world can access. One is my laptop, and one is the IP address of the Azure API. API, one of the IP address. We didn't give the bunch of APIs, IP addresses. We took only one IP address. Okay. So now what we can do is we can come back over here and come to this app service logs. What level of app service logs you want to enable? You can enable all these things. Okay. So at least you have the streaming logs, and this definitely helps you to investigate, like some customer has reported an issue and you want to triage that, you can come in here and see the streaming logs. Okay, so we covered app service logs, we covered this one. And if you want to enable this, I can go ahead and enable. There will be the storage account which has not yet been configured. So I can come in and configure, and this for the demo logs, I can select this. And then I'm saying that what level it has to do, and server logs also I'm enabling. detail logs and file request tracing logs, everything I can enable and save it, but it will be cost. And after 24 hours, this will get reset. And that depends upon what all the logs you want it to be saved. Okay, let's do something else to create 404 or some kind of errors. Let's try to do this so that we can see all those things. I can come into Kudu console now, go to the console command, and from here I can get into the log files. Now you can see that detailed errors and a lot of other errors. If you remember this, back in 2010, we used to heavily work in this IIS and others, where you can see this IIS logs. We used to use log parse lizard and those things to parse this IIS logs. So this is wealth of knowledge here in this, where you can go and see that application insight and detailed errors. You can check this. If at all something is not coming, you can see this. This is the one which you will see when you're trying to reach like professors V, that doesn't exist. And it gives that what kind of error it is throwing. A lot of information will be there here. I mean, this is the one which we will see this. It is throwing 404. Let's go and see this in IIS logs. Where is that? IIS logs. Okay, you should be able to see one of that is here 404. See the status code, what it is returning is 404. And there will be a text file also somewhere in this. And this is the event viewers which we have already seen that. Let's see, is it here in the application logs, or there is one at one place I saw the, yeah, this is the one, raw logs. So this is the log file which we see in our IIS. If you guys remember going to that W3 WC logs, these are the logs where you can go ahead and see that what was that, whether it is 400, 404 or 200 or 500, what is that, how many bytes it is sending, what is the milliseconds it is, everything you can see that. I mean, you can again use the log parse lizards. I mean, now latest tools would have come, but in 2014, around 15, we used to use that log parse lizards and those things to go and investigate this log files. Okay. So what else? We have covered this, and we have seen the Kudu console to a decent extent. We played around with this, and we have seen this one, and we have seen the event viewers, and we have covered the diagnostics logs, streaming of logs, and accessing the log files. And yep, we have covered to a decent extent all these things. Okay, so right now we have two of these APIs. One is this professors and one is this products. Okay, so this is the products one, and right now I have the Angular app with me, and let me start this. Let's verify it locally before we deploy this guy to Azure. Okay, npm start. So I'm starting. It's just a simple hello world, and this one, it just has got few components. One is shared, where we have this accordion, footer, navigation, star rating, and top nav bar. These are the components, and one for this product, and once what a pan. Okay, I'm sorry. CD. There's one thing called Web API, and that's the JSON server. I'm using watch. Okay, what is this JSON server is? If you know the contract, like what is the API is going to return, and you don't have the API ready, and they will definitely push you to the core saying that, hey, I want the UI to be up and running. Can't you mock it? So this is the mocking server where you can go and have your content as part of the JSON file. You can create this, and if you come and click on this one, this will become as a server, because I don't have a server right now, but I need to do the integration. So JSON server is the best way where you can have a file and use this JSON server. So let's see multiple ways to do a integration locally. So then I go to my app and I will go to this environment.cs, and let me make this Z and come back. Start. So once we start, it takes a minute or two. Let's go to so please keep this handy, folks. Anytime you want to do any integration, please do not worry about anything. Please start using this JSON server. You can install the JSON server, create. Now this becomes database. Each of the database table, you can have it like this. Like this is post table, this is comments table, this is profile. And you can have roots, and you can have the query string. You can have a lot of facilities are there. You have sort, you have slice, you have operations, full text search. Lot of things are there. It's almost an API. You can work locally. Okay, so that's one thing. Let's wait a minute. Just wanted to see this. Locally it's getting executed, but it is pretty much faster. The Angular 13, that's what I saw. The notable difference is when I was doing the NG build, I seriously saw that benefit. It was compiling in very few seconds. I mean, that was real great. It's Angular 13. I bumped it up to Angular 13. And you're in this development field, I strongly suggest to start using this PowerShell scripts. So I just wrote a few PowerShell scripts, one to every time you want to do that npm update of Angular CLI or something, write down these kind of things. And another one I did wrote other couple of PowerShell scripts is to do a cleanup also, to go ahead and remove all those folders which you don't need. So you can set a location and go recursive and remove node folders. So I have bunch of projects. I can't go into every project and do this. And here is another one where I can go and update a package of any one of the folder, or if I don't give any incoming the folder name as a parameter, I'm just getting the child item, exclude this PowerShell scripts folder, and go and update the package. I just go and set the location, npm install. These things are there. So start using this. I got the clue from one of the authors. I don't remember those guys' name. I was watching a video on microservices. Seriously, they did all these things. I really liked it. It was Paco or something. Serious thing I learned from them, these things. And this is a simple Angular app from our local. And the products page, this piece of the UI is heavily inspired from Deborah Corata's Angular tutorial in Pluralsight. So I really liked it, and I did some customization on top of that. But this particular UI is purely from Deborah Corata's Angular training, which I took it. It's from them. I mean, I did some small enhancements on top of that, but it's mainly inspired from her coding. And this is the one which we have at this point of time. Right now, it is happening from the local. And what if I come back to this one and go ahead and stop the API? So if I want to refresh, I mean, I'm going to add the auto refresh also. At this point of time, I have the manual refresh. Sorry. So right now, see this, it says that 3000, the server is not available. But we have alternate server is this one, where we have I'm copying this. I'll go back and I need to go to that environment and I'll make this as X and this I'll remove. This is our API. Now let's go to our UI. See that? Now it is going and bringing in the content from. How do you know, Swami? It is bringing in from there. We can do a manual refresh and you can see this in the network tab. It is going and bringing in the content from .2 Azure websites. This one, .2. That means it is definitely reaching the website which is deployed in Azure. I think I need a glass of water. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Now we need to deploy. So deployment is again there are again multiple ways. Again, there are multiple ways to deploy. This is one of the way which I'm going to show. Okay, the logs it's coming and hitting. See that. Now let's go back to this one and let's click on app. I think now we can close this guy. We don't need it. I'm coming in here to this app and we'll go to this deployment center. We'll go to that deployment center. So this is the one. From here, we'll select local Git and I just click on save. So that will save and it will give me the credentials. So what it says is the git clone URL. I need to copy that. That's a git clone URL. And I'm going to copy the username. We need it. And I need the password. Okay. These three things we need it. I'll come back over here and click on this. That has got ng13, some hello world message, whatever we have already written. Okay, so I think we have enough things to deploy our application. Let me go there and I'll stop this. Okay, so this is environment. We need this for the prod also because that's where it will make the differentiation. If you store only in environments, it will not work. 1 second. You need to put it in the environment.prod.ts. Okay. API URL. I'm doing it. Now I do npm run build. So I'm executing the build. So you can see that the build will execute pretty fast. And let me reveal here. And it's the dist folder. And at this point of time, it is making the build. And I see the serious improvement in that, the build process. And I think might be I'm wrong, but previously I felt that it used to take a little bit longer. I know this is, I'm feeling it like a jet speed. It has created all these things. You can see the timestamp 1011. Just now it created this one. Okay, that's one step. And the next thing is we have all these steps here. So we need to do the git clone. So when you're doing the git clone, at least maybe I'm the only one who's facing this, I don't know, but maybe the credentials on my Windows machine, it was troubling me. It was not picking up that asking for the challenge response dialog, but this is how you need to prefix the username. So that's when it will allow you. So what should you do? Let me go grab the path of this, and I do cd, okay, and I do cd dist, and inside dist I will do git clone, and I pasted that. Oh, Jesus. Git clone, and go and grab this. It should be like username at the rate rest of the information what you have picked it up from the Azure Web App UI. So now it goes and it has detected. Now it's going to throw the dialog, and this is where you need the password, the big password. So copy this password and paste it over here and click on OK. Then what it will do is it will clone that repo which you have seen. So this repo, the college web app repo, whatever it has created, that repo has been cloned locally. You can see that. Okay, this is one settings. This repo, we have cloned it locally. Okay, now it says that our repository is empty. Thanks for that. We'll go and copy all these files and go to this one, and I'll paste it here. Copy and okay, I pasted here. Once I pasted it, I will cd. That's 2. That's our application. Git status, git add, git commit, initial version, git push. So now it will start pushing all these things. Okay, while it is pushing, let's spend a couple of minutes here to find out why did we do this. Why did we do this? We'll see. Prod equal to true. Let me check whether I'm able to find this. It's not finding that. I think at least it should find this. So what will happen is while building, it translates that. You see this? Now products web API URL. So whatever you specify here in this prod, that will get compiled into the main.js file. So that is the reason when you are testing in multiple environments, you will definitely have minimum 2. One is dev and one is prod. So please ensure that those URLs you are putting it here properly. I mean, there are other mechanisms, but at least this is a base and simple mechanism which we do. And here we see that it has been deployed. You can come to the logs and verify that it has been deployed. Okay, it is deployed properly. Now I will go and click on this and come on. Okay, good. It is coming. It still have the traces of my ng12. Actually, I should have modified it. It's just like small things. It's not yet working. I mean, this will come in future when we integrate this application with our Azure AD, but it's a long way to go. So we are learning a lot of fundamentals first. So this is the contact page, and this is our team page, and this is the products page. We are able to successfully get the products and rake, and you give that, it brings it back. Just a small hello world, the shop. So everything is good, and you can click on this. It is having the wildcard certificate. Oh, here. So you can see this wildcard asterisk azurewebsites.net. Okay, that's pretty good. Swami, can we have our own custom domain? Yes, definitely we can. So let's do that. So everything has been documented here. All we need to is follow these steps. That's it. So they have given the walkthrough also. Let me go check that. Yeah, this is the one. So what we will do is we will buy the domain. Previously in 2014 and previously we used to buy the domain from some registrar and then do a mapping. It used to be a lot of pain. Now it is all pretty simple. So one notable difference I want to give is when you are creating the web app, you need to understand what additional features do you need. So that means if I come in here and I can select this dev test, and in this dev test environment, let me select this. Okay. In this dev test environment, if you come in here, this shows that if I take S1, I have custom domain, SSL, auto scale up to 10 instances, I have staging slots, daily backups, traffic manager, and this is Azure Compute Units I'm going to get. Now, if I come and select this free, so in free, they are giving some memory and storage. If I go to shared, they are allowing me for custom domain, but I can't add SSL for that application. Like if you go to this NG products, you can see that that's an SSL and it says that connection is secure because you go and see that certificate it's there. You can have the domain certificate, but you can't have the SSL. So that's of partially we are securing ourselves. Now, if you go to basic, that guy is allowing us custom domain as well as secure secure socket layer TLS SSL and that to server naming this one. So and also you have the manual scale. So ensure that a minimum you have this basic, a minimum that will help. Okay, that's one tip. Now what we can do is I think this is already open. So I'll close rest of the tabs. I think it might take 10-15 minutes. We'll make it real quick. Let's go ahead and here. App domain service. Okay, app service domain. Okay, sorry. So this is the one which we can use it. I mean, anything you can use it, whatever works good for you. But I'm using this one. So search for the domains. I will the simple shop v1 because the simple shop I already taken yesterday. So it is giving me it is available. The simple shop v1 is available in the contact information. Everything will come. For some reason, I observed that this information, if I don't fill, it was not creating that. And I mean, you don't need to fill the correct details, but I'm just filling it. Phone number, my address, and India. Okay, that's there. And we'll come back here and privacy, then the tags, and then review and create. It's going to cost me $12. Let it do validation. It takes time. It will be done in 10-15 minutes, folks. It will not be more. But this exercise will be very good exercise. I'm sure. I'm more excited to speak on this. While that is creating, we'll come and we'll see that what we will do. So we have seen this, we have seen this, we have seen this. So of course it is, I've enabled punch the hole in the code, so it's working. So the references also I've given that. So first thing what we will do is we'll create the app service domain. Once we create the app service domain, it will create the app service domain as well as the DNS zone. So the first thing what we have to do is we have to go to that app service and add custom domain, and that's when we need to create two entries. one entry is for the CNAME and one entry is for the TXT. So someone can ask, hey, Swami, how do you know that? So here Microsoft, they have clearly given that. You need to click on the custom domain and add custom domain, and you add the www root, whatever is ours. And they have given two things, the custom domain verification. This is for the TXT record and this is for the CNAME. And you need to come and add those two things, right? And in another thing is, this is for map the custom domain. That one we have already seen that. Yeah, we need to create this TNS two records, and here it was clearly mentioned that we need to do this one. We need to add the CNAME and as well as TXT. So CNAME is www something.com and ASUID www. This is example. So these are the two records which we need to create. Okay, and then we can do rest of the mapping. Let's see how much did we proceed. Okay, it says accepted. That means it is good. If not, it will fail. For some reason, I don't understand. Those fields were marked as optional. You guys can give it a shot. Maybe it is happening with me, but I did multiple times. What is happening is if I don't fill those optional fields, it is saying the bad request and it is kicking me out. So I tried it. At least 4 times I tried it for sure. So I don't know why. Even though those fields has been marked as optional, but it is troubling. It takes 1 or 2 minutes time. So in the meanwhile, let's go and do rest of the preparation. Let me come here and click on the custom name. Okay. And this is the app service domain. And I will come in here. So let's see what it creates. So it has already created the DNS zone, but we need the other one. Open that DNS zone. The deployment is in progress. It will be done. Let's have an extra space. It will not take much time, but at least in the meanwhile, we'll see that. So what we have to do is we will add this add custom domain. And what is our domain name? The simpleshopv1.org. So here they have few of the records, but we will add our those two records which we have planned. Just wait for this deployment to be completed. I think deployment is done. So let's refresh that. Okay, so we are seeing this. We are seeing the app service domain. Now this is our domain. So we have our domain and we have our DNS zone and we have our app. So let's go one by one. So you see this, this is the domain. Our domain is this one, the simpleshopv1.org. And here we have our DNS zone is here. And here we have our this one app. We went to the custom domain and we'll come back and we'll set this TLS. And the first thing, what is the domain? Okay, validate. So that's giving the CNAME and this one. So you can check this. Here we have created that domain, and we will now configure these two, CNAME as well as TXT record. So where do you have the CNAME? We have the CNAME over here. So we'll take the CNAME, come back to this, and add a record set. Okay, add a record set, and that's the www and the record type. Record type is CNAME. Okay. Okay. the CNAME is set. So now what we need to do is we need to copy this, come back over here, create. So what was that? ASUID. And that should be TXT record, folks. So you can see this two records which we have added. So dub and AS2, these two records. This is Azure websites and this is the verification ID. You need to do that. So once you do that, you click on this add custom domain. So that guy goes and adds the custom domain. So that's this step. That is this step we did it. Okay. Let's see that are we able to access the site. Okay. We are able to access the site, but it says that site is not secure. The moment people see that site is not secure, immediately they'll click on this cross button for sure. So let's come back here and go to this TLS. I want to force HTTPS only. I force it. And then we need to create the private key. There are multiple ways, like you can import the app service certificate, you can create our own self-sign certificates and put it here and import from the key, upload the certificate, a lot of things. Now Bonus Azure is giving us this certificate for free. Why don't we use it? So this is a domain which we already created. So it is saying that hostname eligible for certificate creation. Just click on create. I am okay. I'm getting this benefit. I click on create. It creates it. It'll take less time. Come on. It creates it in a minute. I mean, I've given that URL also where we can go and set it up. This one, you need to come to this setting, force it and ensure that it is minimum version is top, and then go ahead and create this and map it over here. Okay, that's good. This is already there. Now let's come back to this one and add the TLS binding and select the custom name as this one and choose the thumbprint which we have just now we have created. And previously it used to show two things, SNI, SSL and IP based. There were two items over there, but now they have reduced it to only SSL. That is because of one of the benefit. I kept that URL big. You can have only single IP address on that, and here you can have multiple things. Where did I do that? I'm sorry. This is here. Yeah, I think it's here. This we have created, and this one, the PowerShell. Okay, but SNI. This is TSL SSL type. Previously, there were two entries, IP based as well as SNI based SSL. Right now, we have only SSL. That's a good thing. So we just click on validate. So that guy makes the binding. Now you have that binding over here, and you can come back to this custom domain, and you can see that this is turned to green and it has got SSL binding, SNI, and this is a wildcard entry. And I can come back and do a refresh. And you see that everything works now. Nothing has changed. I can do a manual refresh. This works. And these are static pages that will definitely work. No need to go and do anything. And also you can come in here and says that connection is secure, and you have this certificate, and you can go to the certification path. You can see that Digi Cert, and this is a valid certificate. So, I mean, people who have worked in 2010, 14, and those times when you used to go and create the websites and do a deployment, take a lot of pain. They will definitely appreciate whatever app service facilities it is giving. And the domain name also seriously remember. I had to buy it from GoDaddy or different domain registers and get the IPs and add it here. Oh, it was a lot of pain. Now see this, within a time we have a Chai Biscuit. We are able to have our domain up and running. Chai Biscuit is tea and snacks. Okay, so that's it from my side today. And what is coming next? Next is serious, fully another action-packed episode. Is that where we are going to discuss about the containerization apps, like how do you deploy containerized apps, and what is Docker? How do you create a Docker images, and how do you push it to Azure Container Registry, or how do you push it to Docker Hub and deploy it from the Docker Hub? A lot of things. I mean, I'll see that how can I wind it up in 1 hour, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. If not, I will create the part 2 of this next session, because there are a lot of things related to the container registry. I think I can't squeeze in 1 hour, but let's see what best we can cover in that 1 hour, 15 minutes, but we can have a recap or part 2 of that sometime. Okay, so back to you folks. How was the session? Any feedback, inputs? Pallab is typing. Krishna, go ahead, Krishna.
Yeah, it's a good session, and we got a lot more information to securing domain, custom domains, logs also. Thanks for the session.
Okay, and there are a lot of other series is there. I mean, maybe 15 to 20 sessions more will come, and every session will be like this. No slides. I'm a no slides guy. I can't create slide. Purely hands-on only. Okay, Jatin, what's that, Krishna?
Yeah, hands-on is giving practical experience. If we don't have a chance to work on real time, then with the practical hands-on sessions, we'll can remember the each topic, and that's what. Thanks for that one hands-on session. Everywhere
Yeah.
I see it's only.
I never come with a theory. I can't do that because this really helps when you're answering your question in AZ 20204. If they ask some question on this one, what are the 2 things you need to do while you're mapping? You definitely know that. You have seen right now we added the C record and we added the TXT record. Immediately you can answer.
Yes.
Yeah. Jatin, anything from you? Let's go real quick, one round. William, anything from you, William?
Everything is okay. It was a brilliant and useful presentation. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, William. Jatin or Pallab, you have answered. Sudarshan.
Yes, Swami. Jitin here. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very good session, like very informative. Definitely, as you said, we will go through the previous recordings also, so it'll be more clear for us. And looking forward to join the next sessions also, Swami. Thank you so much.
Likewise. See the 4 and 5, compare that. How did we deploy an application into the virtual machine? And how are we doing now? Just do a click, 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 and Microsoft is providing everything. So you know the pain. Someone has written the scripts already to go ahead and create a website, map it to the folder, and we deploy, go and sit there and watch the 4 and again watch 5. You know, that will be very good thing. You can compare. So I'm taking in that way where you can compare. We incrementally build on top of that. Okay. So Amar, Arivu?
Yeah, it was a good session. I learned a lot, and looking forward for the future sessions, Vishwanath.
you can call me Swami, Amar. There'll be a minimum 15 plus for sure. Sessions will be lots and lots. It's just the tip of the iceberg. We just started with virtual machines and app services. Now we get deep into that containerization, then Azure functions, service bus, queues, blob storages, event hubs, Azure ADs. Tons and tons of hands-on are going to come. I'm crossing my fingers. Okay, Arivu, anything from you?
Yeah, the session is very useful. I am preparing for this exam also. This
Hmm.
series will run till next year also, correct?
Yes, Arivu. I mean, I'm going to cover every topic which is there in the exam. So I'm just going serially and putting it in an order so that you can compare. Like I was giving one example, 4 and 5. How do you deploy in virtual machine? How do you deploy the app service? Then you know the advantage, and also you see the custom domain. So if you get an question on this one, now you know that what you need to attach it. Okay, you need a CNAME and TXT record. So they give
This will span till which month?
I mean, until we run out of the topics, I'm not going to restrict.
This AZ 204 sessions will span till next year which month or how? That's what. So that it will be helpful for my.
Every 15 days, every fortnight, there is one session. Aribu.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah. Because I can create one session and put in a lot of slides and say that I'm done, but that's not what I want. I want people to learn technology. So even though we take time, let's learn. Let's get deep into the technology we learn. That's my thing. Got it, Arvind? Thanks.
Thank you.
No problem. Anything from you, Sudarshan, or anyone else, real quick? Do you have anything else?
Swami, one quick question. How can I access the old sessions and from where?
I have given that link, but I will put it again. There is.
I've just shared on the chat section.
Yeah, AZ series.
Yeah, the series, and also you can also access the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll take real quick 1 minute to flash it on my screen. Whatever Rashmita has given. See, this is the one, Amar. You go to this page, events page, and here there are on-demand recording. And today's session recording will come in a day or two. It might take 2-3 days, and these are the future sessions. And again, 10 to 15 will come here for sure. That's one thing. And you can go to the YouTube channel over here, and you can get into this. You see guy with yellow shirt.
Swami, go to the playlist. Next tab, playlist.
Okay.
Yeah, so each series have their own playlist. So you can find the AZ204 playlist and all the sessions are up there.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good. This is a simpler way. Oh, okay. Guys, go find the AZ204 series will be here in this playlist. Find out. Okay. And the entire source code, as I was mentioning, it will be here under this folder. It will be purely hands-on, but I strongly suggest please go ahead and play with all these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Chalo guys, thank you so much. If we don't have anything, I think we can wind up. Zakir, anything from you? Zakir or Sudarshan? Jatin spoke, Arivu spoke, William, Amar, AG. Anything from you? AG is leaving. And Zakir or Sudarshan, Pallab, I took the feedback from you. William, you're from Colombia. Okay, cool. Okay, so Sudarshan, last, do you have anything? Or Zakir, Sheikh? Okay, we assume that there are no more queries. I think we can stop.
Thanks, Swami, for the session, and thank you all for joining us today. Please feel free to do event check-in and share your feedback about today's session. It will help us to choose our topics better. Also, please visit our Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru meetup page for more upcoming session. Thank you all once again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye, folks.